The Absolute Idiots Podcast.
Hi. I'm James.
I'm Arman.
And we are
The Absolute Idiots. That was not in sync.
No, I like how slow we went though. That was really exciting.
I was like, I'll start. Oh wait, we're not in sync. I'll go slower, and then you started going slower too.
That's like when we tried to practice the song for Rohan that we never performed.
Oh my god!
I think we should record that and make that an exclusive episode.
We should. Oh my god! I don't know why we
Uh,
never finished that. That was an epic project.
it just wasn't ready.
No, it was not.
Okay, this is not what the episode's about. Hi, everybody, by the way. Welcome back to
Hello.
the Absolute Idiots Podcast. To throw you right into the context of what... James, do you want to explain the context for this?
Yeah. So basically, there was this pandemic from China that spread over to America. And the US didn't really do much about it at first until a lot of people are dying. We're dying. And then they
We're
told everybody
dying.
to go in their houses. And that's where we are now.
I was more so referring to the birthday song for Rohan.
Oh.
I thought you were doing
Wow.
a bit. I didn't realize that you were actually confused.
I had no idea what you're talking about,
No,
so
I
I had to say something.
I meant the birthday song for Rohan.
You just
Uh,
said the situation we're in, so I don't think that's my bad on that one.
Okay, yes, no, that's fair. Let me give you the context of the Rohan thing, which is that, yeah, if you didn't know, we're in a pandemic as of the recording of this, which is why James and I are remotely recording this podcast. We are definitely social distanced.
Yes, sir.
James is definitely not on the porch of my house. I don't have a porch, but he's definitely not there. That's why he's not there.
Wish you had a porch.
Look, let's finish this tangent before we start another tangent before we start today's episode. James and I have a great friend named Rohan Solanki. If he's listening, shout out
Love
to
him.
Solanki. And we were both invited to his birthday, and for his birthday, I didn't really have a
Woo!
present for him.
A surprise birthday.
Yes,
or
it was
party.
a surprise birthday party. I wasn't there for the surprising, but I was there for the party. Which is how I prefer my surprise birthday parties.
Got him.
And so instead of a present, I decided that it would be much better if James and I serenaded Rohan with a custom birthday song. And I was trying to find a duet for James and I for me to like rewrite the lyrics of, and then about Rohan, and then have James and I do it. And I was originally going to do Brass Monkeys, but there was just no karaoke version of Brass Monkeys without them going Brass Monkeys at the beginning, which was like the basis of the song that I wanted to. Anyway, but the point is, whatever. We did what was the song? Obedient Servant from Hamilton, and I was proud of those lyrics. I thought they were okay.
It was epic. I thought they were pretty good.
For like a 2-hour like rewrite, I was like, this is not horrible. And then James and I had also James was in a different completely different city. I was in college in my dorm, and then I went over to the party. And James and I during the party had like an hour to practice. And
yeah. Instead of partying, we locked ourselves in the garage and started to practice for like an hour.
And then we came out, and then the karaoke had ended, and we were like, okay, that's it. We did end up performing it for like 3 of our friends, and it didn't go very well. But
Yes.
if people really want to see it, we're going to record it. And even if you don't want to see it, we're going to record it.
Yes. That's what this podcast is all about, right?
That's what this podcast is all about, is recording what people don't want to see. Speaking of something that, watch this segue, James. Speaking of something that people don't want to see, you know what
Ooh.
all teachers don't want to see?
Ooh. Ooh. That was smooth.
Can you guess what it is, James?
Underage solicited nudes?
No, not that. I mean, yes, but also not that. It's not what we're talking about on the podcast today. James, what are we talking about? Do you know what we're
Sorry.
talking about? Not the pandemic.
Yes, we are talking about cheating.
Oh,
Not cheating on your
boy.
ex-girlfriend. Wait, that doesn't work. Not cheating on your wife, but cheating in school
In
and cheating
academics.
on work.
Yeah,
Uh,
unless we have some really interesting stories about cheating on your
ooh,
wife.
there
I
was.
don't have any stories, but
I'd rather not get into that time.
okay, sounds good. Look, uh how do we start this? James, are you willing to admit
Okay,
that
okay,
you have
I'll start. I'll start us off.
Oh, you're gonna start
I'll
us off.
go.
Okay.
I'll start us
Do you
off.
have a story?
Not necessarily a story
Okay,
just
but you're
yet,
gonna talk
but
about your experience.
I'm gonna talk about my experience.
Okay,
Yes.
wow. Okay.
So, as a child, you
Okay.
see, I was raised to be a rather law-abiding citizen. I was
Of
raised to be a
course.
rather uh, uh, yeah. I was a kid that would follow the rules basically.
Yes.
In elementary school, actually, I was a
The
pretty big
glory days. The
tattletale.
glory days, elementary school.
Glory days, dude. Oh my god, yes. But yeah, all throughout like kindergarten to fourth grade,
Yes.
I was an Omega Tattletale. I took very much pleasure in being like, "Hey, teacher, this bitch is doing shit they not supposed to," and they'd be like, "Uh huh, uh huh, uh huh." And then uh, one day.
Yes.
In like fourth grade or something. I think we watched like some anti-bullying video,
Mhm.
and I think somewhere in the video they were like, "No one likes a tattletale," and I was like, well,
What?
okay, I guess
That's such a
I don't
bad
know."
thing to say in a children's anti-bullying thing.
Yeah, I don't know what it was all about, but anyways, I was like, okay, whatever, I don't care anymore. And so fifth grade, I was still like had a reputation for being a tattletale, but I definitely less loosened up a little bit. I did not
Mm.
care as much about other people doing naughty things, but the what's it called? I guess the philosophy of trying to. What the hell's that sound? Okay, I think that's the neighbors. I don't think I'm being robbed.
Okay, that's good. That would be bad.
Uh, yeah. What was I saying? Oh yeah. I always
You had a philosophy.
from a kid onwards, I was always one to follow the rules and not really find myself in a situation where I had to uh, be accused myself of doing something naughty. And so, actually, to this day, I kind of carry that. I personally find it. I don't really feel like I ever want to cheat or ever need to cheat. Maybe that's a
Okay, go
strange
off.
flex.
Okay.
But I just, I just don't cheat. That is what I'm trying to say here. That is the bottom line.
I see.
But from fifth grade onwards, I definitely have been much more desensitized to cheating. And actually,
Oh.
in sixth grade, basically how sixth grade worked was that all of the kids in sixth grade were separated into different classes based on their math level, which was a very
Oh.
weird system. And obviously, there were more details than that. But
Segregation.
that's a different story for a different time.
Yeah.
And we were the class placed in. We were the only class actually placed in Algebra 1, which, if you don't know, is a math some people take in ninth grade. So we're pretty big brain kids.
Yeah, you were ahead of your
I was a little bit
time.
ahead of my time.
Yes.
But the thing
Did you
about
love
having
algebra?
I did love algebra. Algebra is
Wow.
actually one of my favorite subjects. It was
Okay.
very
Everyone in
very
the comments
fun.
can make fun of how much of a nerd you are. Continue.
It's too late for that. But yeah, so the thing about having a bunch of smart kids in one class is that obviously the smart kids like bond and get together and are better friends than the other kids, or better friends with each other than with the other kids.
I think that's just what happens when you're in a class with someone. I don't think it means when smart kids get
No,
in
yeah,
class.
that's what I mean.
Kids is like only the elite big brain algebra 2 people were able to become friends with each other. The rest of our middle school fell into social class disarray. Continue. Continue your elitist speech.
But yeah, we were mostly, or well, I don't want to say mostly, but there were a select few, some of the kids that were inclined to have a little bit more fun than others, and what this basically meant was that the kids in our class were very bored with school, and so they decided that it was a profitable venture to actually hold on. Let me explain another side tangent first.
Okay. I'm really excited to see where this is gonna go. It sounds like there's gonna be like a weird like drug deal or something, like an underground market.
You'll see.
Yes.
So, this I don't know if you, the listener, have ever used a school Chromebook, but a very commonly known fact about school Chromebooks is that they are, in fact, managed. And what this basically means is that the Chromebook has a bunch of restrictions on it, and a lot of websites. Yeah, exactly. Stuff like that. A lot of websites are blocked, like games, like NSFW things, and basically a lot of features and things you could do were restricted. And we use these Chromebooks like every day. And also for this school, we had to buy our Chromebooks rather than having them loaned out to us. So yeah, these were our own personal Chromebooks, and we were like, well, we wanna do what we want with these Chromebooks, and so yeah, exactly. A select few kids, they were pretty tech geniuses, I'd say. Maybe not geniuses. They Googled some stuff. Tech savvy, exactly. And they were like, hey, we want to unmanage our Chromebook and basically make it so that we can do whatever we want with our Chromebook, such as install Linux, which, if you don't know, is an operating service, just like Windows or Mac OS, and it's just pretty versatile in general. And so, yeah, some of these kids were like, hey, we want to get Linux. And so they did just that. They, through a rather, I'd say, looking back, probably not that advanced, but pretty technologically advanced for a 6th grader. I believe the process involved somehow like power washing the Chromebook, and then like going into developer mode and using command console, stuff like that. I don't remember the exact details of the process.
Don't worry, next episode will be on power washing your Chromebook. So if you
all right. And yeah, so some kids got into that, and they installed Linux on their computers.
And now they work on Facebook.
No, I don't know anybody that works in Facebook, sadly. But yeah, they got Linux on their Chromebooks. A couple of them got Wine, and we would always play like Steam games on our
Wine?
Chromebooks. Yeah. Wine is an application for Linux that lets you run.
I thought we were getting into that whole drug dealing part a little bit.
No.
Cheese went hard as a middle schooler.
And so as the year went on, you know, as you do one shady business, that tends to lead to more shady businesses.
Okay.
And so I believe a couple of my friends. Yes. So a couple of my friends decided to start something that they called, I believe it was called, quote unquote, Hobo Joe's Tech Shop. And what Hobo Joe's Tech Shop was was a service where you could get these kids to pay you to power wash and get Linux on your computer and unmanage your computer so that you yourself could do whatever the hell you wanted on your Chromebook, including looking at NSFW things while in computer science class. And so, from what I hear, I was not actually a part of this business, for reference. From what I hear, it was actually a decently profitable business with people charging I think it was $20 to $40 per unmanaged, and an extra fee on top of that to get Linux. And they made some pretty good money with that. But with all businesses, the young entrepreneurs had the idea to expand to bigger horizons. And while I can say that I don't think it ever fully got to the point where people would take tests for other people, there certainly was businesses where transactions of schoolwork and tutoring, well, maybe not tutoring, maybe it was just straight up doing schoolwork for other people. But it definitely was a profitable business to do people's homework for each other for a fee. And as far as I know, this business was very, very profitable.
Hobo Joe's Tech Shop really went and ran away with that. Wow. That's great.
Yeah, sorry about that. Sorry,
you're good.
Interruption.
I was covering for your little mishap.
But yeah, 6th grade, I get to, some of these people that were running this business were pretty close friends of mine. And again, while I was never directly involved in the business, I got to watch it.
Police officers who are listening, James was not involved. I repeat,
I was not involved. It was really funny because we basically had a central plaza of the school. And from that central plaza, actually, I'd say it's pretty comparable to what I've seen of Terman's campus. The campus there looked kind of like Terman campus,
actually,
right?
Fletcher.
Oh, sorry. I didn't go to the school, so I guess I don't know the name.
Clearly.
But yeah, down one of the little corridors. Imagine one of the halls for lockers, or one of the courtyards for lockers. Down one of those, my friends would set up station around one of the little benches, and the business obviously spread by word of mouth. Obviously, they weren't advertising around the school. So people would come up to them.
Hobo Joe's Tech Shop.
Yeah, people would come up to them, make their business, and they would do their stuff. And I believe there was one time, there was a little bit of a scandal. There was a little bit of an issue between one of the clients and the operators at Hobo Joe's Tech Shop, where one of the clients threatened to expose the whole business to the administration. But I don't remember exactly how, but that man was in fact silenced, and the whole operation continued as normal. And when,
killed?
from what I believe, the business went on very swimmingly until the very end of the school year, where obviously school year ended and everybody disbanded. And I actually, being the perfect little angel I was, even though I saw this happening, I was like, oh, I don't really want to unmanage my Chromebook because I don't want to get in trouble. And I actually did keep my Chromebook unmanaged for most of the year until the last few months, where some of my friends decided to pull a prank, quote unquote prank on me, where they held me down and unmanaged it for me while I was held down. It was a very... As I say this more and more, I'm beginning to realize just how interesting of a time it was.
What a lovely band of friends you had.
But anyways, the school did catch on to the unmanaging at some point, but there really wasn't much they could do about it because they couldn't detect it whatsoever. And one at least one person just had an unmanaged Chromebook just all by accident. Like when they got it, it was unmanaged. So they could have just used that excuse if they were ever caught. So no one ever got in any trouble.
Huh. Wow.
And yeah, that's one of my major cheating. I don't know if we could directly call that cheating, but it definitely was.
It's definitely, I mean, far crazier than anything I think I've ever experienced. That's like really intense, like operation. Like I love how they just set up shop and you're just like people would come and do their business and that's like. But nobody ever was like. I mean, I guess that's right. Like, what could they do about it?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think administration ever directly found out, hey, there's a group that's like a specific group of these people that are doing homework.
So like no one specifically like got in trouble for it or anything? Like,
I don't believe so.
Well, that's good or bad, depending on what kind of
like our class was I do remember our class in general had been told off, like, hey, people have been unmanaging Chromebooks and you're not supposed to do that. But
and people kept doing it.
And people kept doing it, obviously.
Good.
And so I guess later in life, obviously that kind of stuff never happened to me again because I don't think anyone is quite as crazy as sixth graders.
No, not a single person. Sixth graders, when it comes to crazy in the asylum, they go like psychotic, insane, like psychopath, and then middle schooler, sixth grader.
I think since then there were like a couple operations maybe like that. I remember there was this kid, another one of my friends.
This was in sixth grade, right?
Yeah, this was in sixth grade.
Wow.
Yeah, sixth grade, straight out of elementary school.
I wasn't even thinking about like business ventures when I was in sixth grade. I was thinking about like, am I gonna make the basketball team this year?
Well, I mean, when you're a group of nerdy kids, I don't know if anyone's really concerned about that. Actually, no, I am gonna take that back because I remember there was a kid that would miss class like once a month because he was traveling the country doing fencing competitions.
Wow.
Kind of popping off.
Did he cheat in his fencing competitions?
I don't believe so. As far as I know, he
wasn't taking like steroids or something.
He's not taking steroids, no.
The Lance Armstrong of.
No, but yeah, sixth grade were that class of kids was like some of the kookiest kids I've ever met. I think I've talked about them before and how like stunningly overpowered they are at life. Like many of them.
I don't think you ever
I
used
know.
that exact terminology. I'm glad you did. That's great.
No problem. But yeah, like many of them I know last year took upwards of like 5 or 6 APs. Those types of kids,
That's
like
Are they cheating on their APs?
I don't believe so. As far as I understand, many of them are past their cheating days.
The juicy cheating go.
They left it behind them, So but yeah, many of them have now outgunned gun kids, which is kind of crazy. Sixth grade was really my gun before gun, That's what I'm just now realizing.
You're
my
like,
gun before gun.
You were trained. You were at
Yes, I was trained. So gun didn't immediately make me implode.
Good for you.
But since then, a couple mild operations. I remember there was a friend of mine who I had since elementary school through sixth grade, and he and a couple other of my friends tried to set up a similar operation, although definitely not to the extent of how it was in sixth grade.
Okay.
They would just like do a little bit of homework for some kids, and I remember one time there was this kid named Nacho,
Nacho.
really infamous kid, known for doing some pretty crazy stuff. Broke more windows than Sergio.
Sergio never broke a window.
Oh, sorry, screen door, big difference.
Yes.
Maybe I'll talk about him one day because he was a character.
We'll have a Nacho episode.
But
You can bring him on the podcast.
Maybe I will. I don't think I have contact with him, but we'll see what I can do. But he one time purchased homework from my friend, and there was this whole thing where he couldn't pay like actual money, so he paid in this pair of headphones, and then it turns out like the transaction was like written down somewhere. And one of our teachers like found it in the trash or something, and
what?
Like,
why are they looking through the trash?
I don't
Oh
remember
God, they're not paying
exactly
teachers enough these days. Really?
I don't really remember exactly what the situation was, but they were definitely caught. And the headphones had something to do with it as like a proof of the transaction. And my friend got in a little bit of trouble. So he could clearly not manage the business quite as well as he could in 6th grade. And since then,
how would you write that down? What do you need to write that down for?
I don't remember the exact
and why is there a
details
teacher
of what
rummaging
happened.
through the garbage?
But maybe it wasn't the teacher rummaging through the garbage, but I remember this story had something to do with the garbage. I remember that very
The
specifically.
headphones were found in the garbage.
Perhaps.
Bad
I don't know.
headphones.
And then after that, in gun, I guess I've had my own personal experience with. He's asked me a couple times to.
Don't just call him out like that.
Oh, sorry. You
It's
can
okay. I'll
cut that
bleep
out
his
if
name
you
out.
want.
I'll bleep
Yes,
their
you
name
can-
out.
Cut that.
It's been cut. It's been cut. Consider
It's been cut. Fantastic. We've made some deals in the past. He's actually offered me money several times to do his work, but I've turned him down because I don't. I'm not the type of person, you know. If you want homework, if you need homework done, I'd say, you know, I'd just let you have it. And also he pays me in other ways, in favors. Let's just leave it at that.
It's just like you went from like, okay, like there's a shady thing happen. Like you were talking about your middle school friends just like being shady, and you were like, but don't worry, I wasn't involved. And now you're just like, like Wonder Woman has lassoed you with the lasso of truth. You're just like spilling the deets on this section of your life right now.
Well, okay, like I said earlier, since 5th grade onward, I had gotten a little more and more lax about these sort of things. So, you know, I don't really care anymore. If a man's got to get his homework done, a man's got to get his homework done.
I
You
was
know?
meaning more like if somebody finds this podcast and holds it against you later on.
Oh no, I am so scared.
Okay, clearly you have less fear than I do about. Not that I've
It's
ever
okay.
cheated, but
Hey, I haven't cheated either. I've not cheated either. Okay.
that's true. I guess you haven't. In other little favors. God, that is a great segment. I'm very excited about that. Look,
One more thing. Sorry, I don't want to interrupt you.
No, go on.
I believe what started this whole conversation. Actually, no, you started the whole idea. But what started the whole conversation about the topic was that when we had first discussed this topic, it was like just after, or actually maybe it wasn't just after. But I remember this very specifically. An analysis is rather infamous.
Wait, start
for
over.
being.
Start over. Everything cut out for me on my end.
Oh really?
Cut,
Oh, that's not good.
and go.
Okay.
We're
So
not actually cutting anything. I'm leaving it in.
that's fantastic. One of the conversation when we were originally discussing this topic before we decided to talk about it on the podcast, I had originally brought up that as some of you may know, I in junior year took analysis as a class.
Did you
as
like
a math
analysis
class.
more than algebra?
I didn't like analysis.
Oh,
it
you
was
didn't?
fun.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess I didn't. So after finals of winter break, I really wasn't thinking about analysis too much. But during that time was the phase where I would read. Around that time was the phase where I'd read gun confessions very often. And now I never do that, and I never will again.
Okay.
But around that time in winter break and like following winter break, there were a bunch of confessions made about how people in analysis cheated the final. Yeah, it was kind of bad. A bunch of people had basically, from what I could surmise, some people in D period had actually taken pictures of their test and sent it to people in E period.
That's
and so
horrible.
apparently there was this major like cheating scandal that had happened in analysis, and I had no idea. I had never even heard of this. And so in the weeks following, when we came back to analysis class, there were actually like our teacher actually like talked to us about cheating and basically said, hey, we're making more regulations because obviously y'all can't handle yourselves.
Y'all just gotta get some of that cheating.
Yeah. I just thought it was kind of crazy because like I had no clue this was happening. I wasn't even a teacher, right? I was a student, and this completely flew under my radar. Even though I'd say I'm like decent friends with a number of people in the class.
Yeah.
So it was just very interesting to see, and also like I have no idea how these kids did it. Like, how do you take a picture of your test in the middle of a test without your teacher noticing? Kind of baffling to me.
I mean, that's the thing about cheating is that like. I mean, I'll tell a story later where I got to know about a cheating operation. But whenever there was a cheating thing happening, I always was like the last to hear about it. I was like, why didn't anybody offer me the answers to that test? Like, I wasn't gonna take it, but like, that would have been, at least I'm in on the loop, that this is happening.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just like, and I'm never, like, I've seen people be cheating on their tests, but I never was like the way people talk about it, they're like, yeah, the answers have been floating around. It's like, from who? Where? Like, what? Like, who did that? Like, is there somebody in the back? Because in like in the pop culture and the media, like the animated shows and stuff, like there's always like the cheating sequence is like they're going into like they're breaking into the school late at night and like going into the file closet and like grabbing the test answers and like writing them all down on a notepad because there's no phones for some reason in that universe. And it's just I don't know how that comes about in real life, and maybe we just sound like super mega losers for this. And now that I'm out of high school and I've been talking to some of my friends who are still in high school, and some of them have told me about like their cheating ventures. I don't understand. Like you said, like how do you take a picture of your test? That's not. When do you have time? Like, how are you so good at that? Maybe it's just because I can't help but like have all the attention on me at all times. But like that just seems undoable.
Yeah. I have no. Actually, this does kind of remind me. Okay, going back to 6th grade one more time. This doesn't exactly answer the question.
Yeah.
I personally don't remember this, but a year and a half ago, I was just talking to some of my friends, and this story came up. And again, I don't remember this happening whatsoever, but apparently it did happen. So during our science final, apparently there was literally there was a sheet of paper just being passed around or like being tossed around with all the answers on it. Like somebody took the test and then copied down all their answers and then was just handing it to other people during the test. And this sheet of paper kind of like got around to everyone. Apparently,
Except you.
I don't remember this at all. Except me, maybe. Maybe I got it and was like, this out of my memory, so they can't accuse me of it. So I don't know. But yeah, apparently that's something that happened. So I guess that would be cheating. But
yeah, I mean,
I don't have much else to say there.
I mean, I get nervous whenever I like look up from my test, like up at the ceiling, because I feel like, what if they're like, thinking I'm cheating? You know, like
exactly.
I get nervous if I sit there and I don't know how to do a problem and I'm sitting there because I'm like, what if they think I'm cheating by waiting for someone else to answer this question for me?
Yeah.
You know, like.
I totally feel that.
I don't know if that's test-taking anxiety or whatever, but that I don't like pulling your phone out and like grabbing a picture of your test. How are you fast and sneaky enough to do that?
I know you got to be like sneak 100. But yeah, I totally understand what you mean. Like whenever I'm like thinking about a problem and I look up, I'm like, wait, maybe I should look back down, in case I've been a little bit accused. But yeah, continue.
Yeah, I mean, I remember in high school, my freshman year, in biology class, we were taking our very last final of the year, and at some point I like had finished, and I just like was like looking in front of me, and I saw that this girl is just like on her phone, like
what?
Looking up answers, and
Damn.
and she wasn't even like that like hidden about it. She was just the phone was in her lap. She had one hand on her phone, like scrolling through answers, and then the other hand was taking the test. And this was like a very tough teacher too. Like this was not like a teacher. This teacher, like, if you know who it is, whatever. Don't name him in the comments. That was a bit of a voice crack. Did you hear that? Did you hear that voice crack a little bit? Anyway, this teacher, like during the flex time study periods that we would have, she wouldn't let you take the test out of, like, look at your test that you had without asking her. You weren't allowed to leave the room until the test was filed back in and, like, checked in with her. She was real strict about cheating. And this girl is just on her phone, like, looking at answers during the test. And I mean, I was more, like, and this was, like, towards the end of the test, I was just, like shocked. I was, like, frozen in my seat at, like, how confidently she was just doing this. And then the test was over, and that was that. I don't know what her grade was in the class or whatever, but I was just so enamored is the wrong word, but like just like amazed at the fact that this had just occurred in this class. At the very end of this class that like I thought, wow, this is such a tough class. Like, wow, the cheating, nobody's ever going to be able to cheat in this class. She's like seal proof, and she's just on her phone like during the test. It's wild.
God damn.
I know. I don't know, man.
Wow. That. I don't
anyway,
know.
Good on them, I guess, for acing that class. Because
So.
I know they have a good grade. They had a good grade in that class. I don't know if it was all from cheating. I can't say that it was all from cheating. But
also, just to have the balls to do that, like if you do that and get caught, you're getting a little bit of a stink.
Yeah, like what?
You know?
What? I mean, is it worth it? I don't know. I mean, her grade was. I should have been the one who was cheating in that class. Let me tell you. Like if one of the two of us needed it, it was me. It was not. Not it. This is unrelated, by the way, but since we're talking about it, I'm still angry about it. In that biology class, I did end up getting a C, and my friend also got the same percentage as me to get a C, but his grade was inputted as a B, so he got a B in the class. I got a C.
Doesn't sound like a real great teacher, does it?
Yeah.
Mm.
Anyways. You want me to tell my most like crazy cheating story? It's not as crazy as your operations that you've been having, but it's like the craziest. It's not even that crazy. I'm like hyping it up, but it's not.
Go ahead. It's
and I think I've told you
our
this story
show
before, probably. This is the very last math class I took. It was Calc.
That's
whatever,
right.
Some Calc class. Let's put it bluntly, I was not very good at that class. Like, really quite bad. If you can't tell, there seems to be a trend here with my STEM classes.
Uh-oh.
But I was not good at that class. And I had just, this was like right at the end of the year of my senior year, and I'd just been accepted to my university that I wanted to go to very badly at the time. And they were like, yeah, sure, you just have to make sure that you pass this class with a higher than a C minus or a C. And I was like, oh boy.
Here we go.
That's unfortunate because I have a D plus in this class.
Oh.
And so this final, either I made it with an amazing score, like the highest test score I would have in that class ever, or I didn't make it. And that's that context. Now let's rewind to the beginning of this class. Actually, back to 6th grade. And there was this man, not man. There was this guy in my grade who, for some reason, really didn't like me.
Are we actually going back to 6th grade?
Huh?
Are we actually going back to 6th grade?
Yeah, this is from 6th grade. I met this person, and they
Wow.
They generally really were not very nice to me. They were not like a nice person in general, but like really went after me. Lots of not nice things said about me, shared about me, spread about me.
I see.
Yes, and that went on to like 7th grade until like he got a girlfriend and he realized that he can't be a dick to everybody, I guess. But generally, like if we ever did interact, it was just like him not being nice.
Right.
to not go into more detail. And we ended up in this same math class together.
Oh.
And somehow we kind of like just like bonded. I mean, I never really like was like I'm gonna go after. I mean, I hate it, but I was like never like I'm gonna go after this guy. And I guess he just kind of like was like, you've passed the test of being bullied by me, and now we can be friends. And he was being very kind. He was, he was like, hey, you want to hang out? And I was like, not really. He's like, you want to play CSGO? I was like, I don't have that game, and I don't care. And we've been sitting together and stuff. And he was very good in that class. He was definitely knew what he was doing, or so I thought.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyway, good grade in the class. And then the 2 days before the test, it was our last day of class before the final that we were gonna have. And he comes up to me and he says, "Hey man, like, I really appreciate like us being buddies this year." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, sure." And I thought it was just like a goodbye thing, like I have a great summer, college, whatever. And he was like, "Yeah, like da da da," and he was like, "Look, I thought I would tell you about this. I feel bad that I haven't told you before, but basically, I have all the answers to this final. Do you want me to just send it to you?" And
wow. What a proposition!
This is like in the middle of class. I mean, he wasn't like shouting it out, but this is just like in the middle of math class. Like we're all studying. I'm struggling with this problem that apparently we learned in like the first month of class, and I am like, oh wow, that sounds real good. Like really, really good. And he was like, don't even worry, like we haven't been ever like caught, like it's so fine. And I was sitting there like, wow, it sounds better and better. It just gets better and better. The odds were really in my favor to take this. And really, I went and said, no thanks, that's okay.
Wow.
And did not take him up on his offer.
Did not take the honey pot.
Yeah, and that was that. But this story is a happy ending. Don't worry.
Okay.
Somehow I did score the highest I've ever scored in that class on that final.
Hey,
and I did.
Congratulations.
Get the C plus that I needed.
Yeah. Wait, you went from a D plus to a C plus?
Huh? Yeah, I mean, the tests in that class were like 60% of our grade.
Oh, I see.
And the final was like more.
Wow.
It was, okay, that isn't correct math. But the final was
Well,
like
I can
an
see
even
why.
more weighted version of it. Anyway, it was,
Yeah.
and I think that might have been the most self-restraint I've ever had in my entire life. I mean, this was like the determination of whether or not I got into the college that I was hoping to get into, and it
Yeah.
look at worked out. You know, that's that. And I don't know how that happened, because I remember studying that night for a long time and being like, I feel okay. You know, I wasn't like, I got this. I was just kind of like, this, not gonna expect too much out of this. And somehow the test score came out and I was like, oh wow, that's a little wild. And I have not spoken to this person since then. They did offer to smoke weed with me over the summer, which I did not take up that offer with them.
Nice.
If that person's listening right now, cool. That's all I have to say about that.
Fantastic. Wow. You came very, like, I have no clue what I would have done in that situation.
I think that there are many alternate dimensions where I took up the offer and nothing happened except I got a great score on the test. You know?
Yeah, no, definitely. It's just like.
But it also, like, I mean, like we were saying before, like, it just, like, put things into perspective for me. I was like, whoa, like, no wonder you and all of your other friends in this class are doing so well, and I'm not. And we all mess around at the same times in class. You're not just, like, geniuses. Like, we're all, well, not we're all, but you're all, you've got a bit of a leg up in the competition.
Yes. That is fair to say, I believe.
Wow. Anyway, that's my most crazy cheating story. And we're not gonna condone cheating on this.
No, cheating's bad.
Cheating is bad.
If you get caught, it's really bad for you.
Yeah, it's really not good. It can do a lot of bad things for you. So don't do it. If you're doing it, shame on you.
But it also could do a lot of good things for you. So, take that into consideration.
We're not condoning it, but lots of great things could come out of it.
It's part of the formula, you know?
It's the reverse psychology we're hitting.
But yeah, no, don't get in trouble. It's a hassle.
You don't want to story. Don't get in trouble. That's the baseline here.
Yes,
and if somebody asks you who inspired you to cheat, don't blame us. But you should at some point in that discussion just go, hey, I think something that would really help me and everyone in the world is if I listen to more of the Absolute Idiots podcast.
Yes.
On YouTube, the Absolute Idiots.
Absolute Idiots podcast. Okay, make sure to rewatch this video as many times as you need. Follow us on our socials. And
follow our
new video coming out. New video will be coming out every week. Question mark?
Yeah, I think every week. I don't think we're doing a bite size this week. There's no new game that's coming out, so.
Nothing.
James,
like, wow.
Do you want to talk about our new? We're gonna do a new little segment to upload even more videos.
Yes, that's right.
Something. If you guys have never heard of Mr. Sunday Movies or The Weekly Planet, I don't think you have, James. Maybe I've mentioned it.
No, I'm not. I definitely am not.
They're a podcast that's better than ours, and they do awesome things on YouTube. I love them. They definitely inspired me to come to James. But I mean, obviously, we were inspired by Quinn and Dennis not making a podcast, and we decided to. But also, I mean, that has been a big inspiration for a lot of our stuff.
Yes.
And our superhero showdown last week was slightly inspired by them. Anyway, I don't need to talk about them. They suck. If you want to watch them, you should do that. But you're watching us right now, and you're stuck. You can't leave. You're stuck, and you have to listen to the rest of the video.
You're fixed in place.
we're gonna do this thing called the worst and the best. And so each week,
Oh yeah.
one of us is gonna take on the worst, and one of us is gonna take on the best. And we're gonna have a big old bucket of best things ever, and some of the worst things ever. And they're gonna range from anything from like food and restaurants to like the usual, like what we talk about, video games or maybe movies, maybe TV shows. We haven't fully put tons of things into the bucket yet, but hopefully our first episode of that will go up next week, maybe.
We'll see.
Yeah, and they'll be shorter. They'll be like half an hour each. It'll be one recording session, but I'm gonna split it up into two. We're gonna have one for the best and one for the worst. James, do you want to do a coin flip to see who's gonna do the worst and who's gonna do the best?
I would love to.
Let me find a coin.
Coin flip.
Oh, you're
Tails
doing
will be me.
Okay. And then
It is in
whoever.
fact
What is it?
Tails.
Okay, so you get to pick if you want to do the worst or the best first, and then we'll just alternate from there.
Fantastic.
Or do you want to do a coin flip every week?
We can do a coin flip every week.
That's funny because someone's gonna get.
I think that's epic.
Do you want to experience the worst this week or the best this week?
I think I can handle the worst this week.
Oh,
Let's see what
wow!
happens.
Okay, you're gonna do the worst this week. Okay. We'll find something, and I'll probably edit it into this video. I'll put a text up, and we'll decide what the worst is and what the best is. So I'm gonna be doing the best this week, and James is gonna be doing the worst. That was like a 10-minute segment of us explaining that. But yeah, like James said, follow us on the.
Oh, and also,
Yes.
we know you guys can't get enough of how much we talk about video games. So why not watch us play some video games?
We want to do playthroughs. Oh my god, this channel is just blooming with inspiration and opportunity. We are going to be doing video game playthroughs. I think we're going to do Splunky first. I would like to do Splunky first.
If you guys have watched the previous episode, my favorite game of all time,
Splunky.
and one of Alfarad's favorite games, and we all know
if you
that
love Alfarad,
Arman
you'll love
is
us.
Alfarad.
Yes.
Yes. So
it's gonna be so bad. I'm gonna be so bad at it.
it's gonna be
a little
It's
more
gonna be
edited. It's probably
absolutely
gonna be more of an edited style video. So if you hate that, don't watch it. Just watch this more times. Once you've finished watching this video, go great. Open it in a new tab and play it again. Make a new YouTube account and like this video. Do it 3 more times, and then you'll have good luck on your next test.
Fantastic.
Have you ever seen those around finals on Facebook? They're just like, share this onion
No.
to like get better test results.
What?
Have you never seen this sort of stuff?
I mean, I don't browse Facebook.
Yeah, I
very
guess you're not a
often.
big social media person, but like around the time of like finals and APs, people will like post like the lucky golden Dorito and like repost it to like get
That's
good luck on
dumb.
your next test or something.
That's dumb.
Yeah, it is. Anyways, this has been the Absolute Idiots. James, your final words as usual.
Oh, America!
The Absolute Idiots Podcast.